in Edmonton, we had a couple of things happen. Obviously, we've talked about what happened with Zadorov at the end of the game. I'm not sure if you saw Zadorov put Evander Kane into the bench and keep him there.
And they both got penalties.
Yeah, because Evander Kane so Zadorov is pushing him down and then trying to leave, and Kane has his stick. And so what's hilarious about that play is that Zadorov gets the penalty and for roughing, I think it was, and then and then Kane is laughing because he's like, "Oh, I got him," and then the ref calls a bench minor on the Oilers roughing for some reason, and
a bench minor?
Called it as a bench minor.
It was the right call, I thought. When
it was the right call, but holding the stick was the call.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that's what it should have been.
Like you can't hold Zadorov in your own bench.
Yeah, but it's not roughing. It's holding the stick.
You know what?
Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty in the rule book?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, can you not?
You're not allowed to hold your opponent's stick.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, another even more costly missed call was a holding the stick call. Artur Silovs,
holding the stick.
Derek Ryan was about to score a damn goal. And Silovs, I've never seen a goalie do this, and I don't know why I haven't seen it more often, just grabbed a stick. He grabbed a stick.
You're not going to do that.
Blocker.
You're not going to do that.
And they missed it in the fray because, you're not looking for that. The goalie is trying to cover the puck. He straight up grabbed his stick.
And that Corey Perry almost goal, I think one of the smartest things Artur Silovs did was have a goalie glove that has black netting on it, because that Corey Perry goal could have been in.
I didn't know.
Did you guys see this?
Legal.
And he covers it, but you can't tell because it's black on black whether or not that puck is in the net. You cannot conclusively tell, and the ref call on the ice was no goal.
Yeah, you're always gonna win the conclusive argument discussion when your webbing is black and you can't see the puck.
Nuts?
Yeah.
I just thought I couldn't believe
Good
that
strategy.
Now,
underrated, because you mentioned Zadorov, and we talked about Zadorov a lot. I don't want to hear from anybody ever that trade deadline acquisitions don't work, because
who's claiming that?
Zadorov and Lindholm have been spectacular.
I'm sorry, but who claims that?
So, because coming into the playoffs, a lot of the conversation on Lindholm was that why did they
tried to retrade him?
That's something we talked about actively. It was like, let's go retrade Lindholm. Let's get out of it.
He was playing poorly.
Exactly.
He was.
But your trade deadline acquisition isn't for the regular season.
No.
Let's hold judgment. That's what I don't want to hear you say, it's not good to get this guy until you see how it plays out in the playoffs.
I mean, it is valid to say it's concerning what you've seen so far.
Sure. Yeah. We can make the evaluations day to day, but let's not just punt on a guy and say it was a bad trade until the playoffs happen, because Lindholm has been a spectacular playoff performer. Zadorov has been arguably second, third best player on the whole team.
Absolutely.
He's been a firecracker.
Couple of dummy penalties last night, especially the trip on McDavid.
Yeah.
The thing after the game we've already talked about, but the trip on McDavid, which directly leads to Leon Draisaitl's goal, it's dumb. You can't do that. But
because there's been so much friggin' nonsense in this series, I can't believe we're not talking. The whole show should just be us fawning over probably the leading Conn Smythe candidate right now. Brock Besser.
Mm-hmm.
He's been outstanding. People thought there was a hat trick,
and they took one of his damn goals away.
Yeah, but Lindholm and Besser were on hat trick watch last night, both of them.
Yeah,
and Miller at the end of the game, not to move it away from those guys, but Miller shot the puck down the ice with so much force, and it hit the post in the empty net with more force than I've ever seen hit a post on an empty net. But I got a couple notes here. So Besser has been great every night.
Mm-hmm.
Every game this series is finished by a goal. The Canucks, by the way, have never beat Edmonton in the playoffs. They've played each other twice before.
That's it?
96 and 92, or 86 and 92, excuse me.
Wow.
And Svilovs, by the way, Shilovs, I want to talk about him. 21 saves in the third period.
Man.
Sometimes the Latvian goaltenders come out of nowhere, and they're just like, we're going to be Latvian.
And they're used to making 20 saves a period.
Yes.
Because it's international.
Play for Latvia.
What did the final shot count end at? It was like
44 to 18 or something like that.
Yeah, at the end of the game, it was ridiculous.
And I have to ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
For both teams.
Got it.
So the first one...
Is it about Silovs?
No, it's lineup decisions.
Can I ask?
So first off, Ian Cole has had the worst 3 games for the Vancouver Canucks that you could possibly
Ian
have.
Cole's been bad.
He's been bad. Okay. Noah Juulsen's right there. Even if you got to sit Ian Cole for a game, just put Noah Juulsen in. Now Noah Juulsen's getting in because Soucy's probably getting suspended, right? So it's going to happen. But Ian Cole needs a break. CC Nurse.
Dude, every time.
Is so bad.
It's so bad.
I can't believe. And people are like, "Oh no, that's overblown." Guys, they're bad.
They can't defend.
And I read an article this morning from Daniel Nugent-Bowman in The Athletic talking about how, they were effective against the Avalanche or whatever. And I'm like, but that's
the series where they were swept?
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm
from
misquoting
2022?
They've been trying CC Nurse for 82
What are they
games,
doing?
And it's been the worst thing ever.
It's so bad. The Canucks are embarrassing them. Like, it's the only thing that Nurse is doing right now is using his body and absolutely laying out 2 or 3 guys a game.
Oh, he's a completely tough nut. Like, those 2 guys, if you want to keep them on their own, fine. But we just talked about it. It's not about lining up your best 6 defensemen. You got to have pairs that work. Well, and that pair doesn't friggin' work.
And they trade for Troy Stetcher at the deadline, and he hasn't played. Deadline acquisitions.
Yeah, he was acquired to be depth. Like, he was acquired to be the 7th D and get in there every now and again. But
might be time.
Yeah,
I don't know if he solves that issue.
I'm in favor of lineup changes in playoff games just to mix it up because it usually gives your team a jolt, and all you need is a jolt for 1 game, and it could work. So I don't know. It just hasn't worked.
And Stuart Skinner.
Yeah.
Man,
I feel bad because a couple of the goals were legit not his fault, but then a couple of goals were mano y mano, and he lets him in.
Even I can't remember
the Lindholm goal. You can't fault him for.
I can't remember which Besser goal it was. It was the one where, like, there's a giveaway. Besser's alone in front.
Yeah, that would be CC Nurse, and it was a Warren Fogle. All Warren Fogle has to do is chip the puck out of the board.
Oh, I know.
And he's above the center, that circle. I don't even know what they call that. And I played hockey for 12 years. I don't know what they call that, but it's the circle.
What are you talking about?
The circle in the each offensive and defensive zone has a circle around the
face-off circle.
Not just the face-off circle, but there's a bigger circle where the hash marks are and that sort of thing.
That's the face-off circle.
I just call it the face-off.
Okay, well, he's outside of the face-off circle.
There you go.
He's 10 feet from the blue line. Chip it out, and what's he do? Fires it directly to a Canuck in the middle of center ice. Within the blue paint. Like it's just unbelievable. And then Nurse and Cece, and I think rightfully so, are like, well, we better get up. And they immediately get it down low, and Skinner, I mean, what's he supposed to do?
Make a save is what he's supposed to do. And, like, I know it's Brock Besser, but, like, Skinner has a lot of games where, you always look for the one that's like a truly awful goal. Like, oh, man, anyone would have had that. But every game, he has saves where you're like, okay, it was a good enough shot. It was a good enough opportunity. It's savable, though.
So here's my question for you guys: are the Oilers in the same position that the Leafs are? Too much salary up top.
Second round, so no.
Too much salary up top. Yeah. Not enough depth. Here's what the depth.
The guys up top are scoring.
You got Draisaitl. Yeah, the guys up top are scoring. That's why they got to the second round. But here's what you got. Draisaitl with 18 points.
What? The Leafs. Okay, not everything is about the Leafs, but it is worth mentioning. The Leafs' leading scorer had, I think, 4.
Yeah. McDavid, 17. Bouchard, 13. Hyman, 11. Nugent Hopkins, 10. Ekholm, 5. And then after that, it's Kane with 4, and nobody else on the team has more than 2. Now, still, that should be enough.
I think that's fine.
I'm going to default to the previous person we were talking about, and that's Stuart Skinner.
Yeah,
and
keep the puck out of your net.
If Stuart Skinner can get them a couple saves, this series is completely different. And
right.
Like Frank Saravalli wrote an article, and he had some stats in there about Stuart Skinner's series so far. He has a 793 save percentage in the series.
Oh good Lord.
Which is like it's unwinnable. His minus 5.7 expected goals saved these playoffs is the second worst, only to Connor Hellebuck.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's just, if they get any kind of saves, I think it's like we might be looking at the Oilers winning maybe 3, but maybe it's 2-1. But do you go to Calvin Pickard for game 4?
I think about it.
Do you go to Jack Campbell?
Cal Pickard actually
fuck no.
He didn't look bad. He actually looked okay in the third. Not that he had many shots, but
I look at it sort of like the Samsonov Wool thing. You play Pickard in the third to play him in game 4.
Adam, who are you starting?
I think you got to start
Tuesday.
Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
I don't think you can go if you're at 793 3 games in. That's 2 2/3 games in, which is even worse.
Yeah.
8 periods.
That's a non. Listen, guys, we're forgetting Leon Draisaitl's last year under contract in Edmonton is next year. Connor McDavid's last 2 years are next year and the year after. You have to win now. And I know that people are like, well, Leon will stay. You don't know that. There's no guarantees.
And if he does, he's going to make
a bazillion more.
at least 12.
Oh, my God.
And McDavid's
He's not going to make Matthews money? I would think he deserves it.
That's what I'm saying. And then what the hell does McDavid get? McDavid might be the first player in the cap here to make 15.
And he should.
At a discount. So if for nothing else, you're going to have those, you're going to keep those players. Good, great, but they're going to cost so much more.
Yes. And then I don't know. For me, I look at that and I'm like, nah. And that doesn't mean that Edmonton can't win. They've been right in this.
Sure.
Oh, you could make an argument they should be up 3-0. Not taking anything away from the Canucks. They've played extremely well, but
Evander Kane Evander Kane could have had a goal right after the Canucks scored one. Went right off the post. There's a few things, like a couple near misses.
Oh, I know.
Derek Ryan and all that.
The Derek Ryan one. That's torture.
The Darnell Nurse contract that runs through the end of 2030 for $9.25 million. That's another 6 seasons. Is going to really hurt their salary cap in the short term.
And so does Jack Campbell, by the way. Right? So does Jack Campbell.
How does the burying work?
So you can bury up to $1.35 million. It goes up a little bit each year, I believe. And that's why like Ryan Reeves, people are worried about Ryan Reeves. Like, well, if Ryan Reeves can't play at the NHL level, you bury him.
Yeah,
it's variable. It's not $5 million.
Dude, this guy's a drag on the team.
Yeah.
Oh,
nearly $10 million, just over 9, I guess. But it's a lot to put towards a defenseman who, I guess they look at him as your number one defenseman. I'll pull up that as their number one defenseman, but him being paired with Ceci.
Ekholm is. Or Bouchard is. I mean, seriously.
Bouchard or Ekholm. Either
Bouchard,
of them.
I'm forgetting. So it's you're dedicating that much money to, where do you rank him? Third?
I saw an article yesterday asking, is Matthias Ekholm the best defenseman the Oilers have had since Chris Pronger?
He's great.
He might be.
He's amazing.
He's pretty damn good.
What about
dude.
Evan Bouchard?
Well, it's one of them. It's one of those two.
Bouchard's really good. I think his defense is a little light.
Oh, my God.
So you're going to have to pay Bouchard at the end of the 25 season, which is 1 season away from today.
Look at that decor. Okay, Nurse can do some good things, but that contract is just miserable. Ekholm, Bouchard, great. And then it's just a complete somersaulting down the stairs. Ceci, Kulak, Stetcher, Broberg, Desharnais. Good lord.
Desharnais look good. Desharnais look good.
There was a breakout pass last night where I was like, holy shit, give this guy a shovel.
That's not what Desharnais does. I'll give Desharnais credit. He's been solid.
Mm-hmm.
He's been solid. He's done nothing wrong.
No, and I'm not going to rip on him because look how much money he makes.
Right.
Well,
yeah. So the RFA status for Evan Bouchard that comes up at the end of the 25 season, which is the end of next season. All of that Nurse money should be Bouchard's money. How do you manage that situation and get Evan Bouchard the contract that he needs when you also have to pay Leon Draisaitl $42 million a season?
Jesse, let's do the thing. Click on Nurse and buy him out.
You want to buy out?
Let's do the thing.
No.
I want to see.
It's going to be a 2/3, isn't it?
Buyout. So June 15th.
Shout out Cap Friendly for being the most handy tool in the universe.
Oh, that cap.
So do the make the
impossible.
buyout July 1st. Just because we know he's not going to get bought out before that, right? So make it July 1st.
Well, I can't.
Why would it be
Okay,
July
make
1st?
it July 15th.
Wouldn't it be June?
July.
A cup final won't even be done. Remember the whole thing that we did with Dubois?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, hold on. June
Do it August.
30th.
Do any date, but there you go.
There you go.
Oh my God. So
The cap hit is ugly.
for some reason, they save money next year. Like the cap hit is negative 1.2 million. Then it's under $1 million. Then it's 8.7, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. Yeah, I don't think
It doesn't help.
I don't think he's getting bought out, guys.
I'd rather have the guy
Yeah, you'd rather him play.
than pay that money to no one.
Can you do a Jack Campbell buyout? I'd just be curious.
His cap hit is in a bunch of those years is higher than what it currently is.
Yeah, and then the benefit is through 2030. But then
So you don't even get the benefit till after his contract expires anyway.
it expires in 2030. So there's no avenue to buy him out unless you want the space for these 2 years.
It's a 2/3 12-year buyout.
And here's the
Holy
thing.
shit.
Even if you do buy him out, you do have to find somebody.
Yeah. No, he's not going anywhere, guys.
Can we do
sorry.
Jack Campbell?
Sure.
I'm sure Jack Campbell will be a little more palatable.
Ken Holland is not going to be back. And listen, they could win the cup. He's still not going to be back.
Oh, that's not that bad. So July
that's
15th,
doable.
2024, Campbell 1.1, 2.3, 2.6, 1.5, 1.5.
I think you do that.
1.5.
I think you do that.
That's palatable.
Damn.
It's not great. It's palatable.
Wow.
Shit.
Wow. Damn. So anyway, listen, like the Oilers are very much in this series. Don't let the 2-1 thing fool you. I do think people have underrated the Canucks though, and
Oh yeah.
Shilov has been great. And people were saying in the chat like, "Well, the Canucks could just punt Casey DeSmith at this point." I was like, wait a second. Shilov's been great, and he's done this at the World Championship. He's done this before. Yep. There's a history of this guy being good. He was not this in the AHL this year, but that doesn't matter. I want to direct your attention to Akira Schmid, who was magic last playoffs. Mm-hmm. Where did he finish the season?
In the AHL. You know, it's funny that you bring him up because I was going to ask the question, is this the best third goalie that we've seen in the playoffs since? The name I was going to bring up was Jussi Markkanen of the Oilers when they went to the Cup final. But no, the real answer is last friggin' year with Akira Schmid. That's unreal.
It is. So you
Progress
just don't know.
isn't always linear.
Right, and you just don't know, right? So that, and Casey DeSmith had a bit of an off year this year, but he's been very, very good as a backup for a long time in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but he's not. I don't think he's coming back.
You don't think so?
No, I think.
Well, maybe somebody else.
I think you have Demko and Shvilos. Like, I think those are your two goalies going to next season because you have to give Casey DeSmith a contract. He's not under contract, and it's probably going to be too expensive for what you're asking for. Because the RFA, like Shvilos is earning some serious money here during this run because he needs a new deal. It's RFA, obviously, so there's a lot of rights, but somebody's going to bid too much for DeSmith. If I'm his agent, I take him free agency.
Yeah.
Like, no way I do an extension with the Canucks before I see what other people are going to offer me.
Well, and Big Z is going to make a lot.
Well, and if you're the Canucks, you don't break the bank to offer DeSmith too much because of how good Shilov's is.
Exactly.
And Demko is still very, very good.
And Demko is live.